So here we are inside of my very own ad landing page. This is for an offer that we are actively running right now for database reactivation. We don't charge any setup fees, no monthly retainers. We do it on a pay per result basis. So if that's of any interest, then let me know. You can book a call. But let's go through the ad and I'll show you our AI agent calling our ad leads within 2 minutes. So I'm just going to go through the qualification, just say yes, fill in my details like this, hit unlock. And now let's start the 2 minute timer. Now, just a sort of heads up with this process, what we've done on the back end is if they come onto this landing page and they decide to book a free discovery call with us, then the outbound call will be cancelled out. But if they don't book a call within 2 minutes, then our AI will call those people, qualify them, and then book them in for an appointment. So I'm just going to wait for this timer to get to 2 minutes, and then we should receive a call from the Future Flow outbound AI agent. And this is an AI agent that we are actively using within our own ads. So I thought it'd be quite a cool example to show you on a video. And it also means that I can go into great detail into the prompt, the automations, and basically show you everything under the hood. So that's been 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and we're now receiving a call from the AI agent. So I'm just going to answer the call and let you guys listen to what the agent sounds like.
Hello, is this Matt?
Yes, it is. Who is this?
Hey Matt, this is Lucas calling from Future Flow. You just signed up to watch our case study video a few minutes ago, so I thought I'd give you a quick call. Now, I should probably mention I'm actually an AI. Matt, I thought the best way to show you what these systems can actually do is to have one call you rather than just tell you about it. Hope I don't disappoint. Did you get a chance to watch the video yet?
Yeah, I watched the video.
Nice one. Since you've seen the results we got for Simon, do you mind if I ask you a couple of quick questions just to see if this sort of service would be a good fit for your business?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Brilliant. First off, what's the name of your business?
We're called Electric One.
Got it. Sounds like a powerful name. And what industry are you in? What do you actually sell or offer at Electric One?
We do solar installations, so we put in solar panels and batteries and all that sort of thing for homeowners.
Solar, nice. That's a massive market right now. So the service we're talking about is specifically for businesses that have a database of older dead leads. People who inquired about solar or batteries in the last 12 months but didn't pull the trigger. Do you have a database like that at Electric One?
Yeah, we've got a database of probably about 7,000 leads that have inquired in like the last 12 months or so, but didn't end up moving forward.
7,000 leads? That's a goldmine for a reactivation campaign, especially in solar. Based on that, I think Matt would love to speak with you. The next step would be a quick 30-minute discovery call where he can look at your database situation and see if our system can turn those leads into fresh appointments for you. Would you be up for having a chat with Matt?
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Perfect. Whereabouts are you based? UK, US or somewhere else?
We're based in the UK.
Let me quickly check Matt's calendar for some openings. It looks like Matt's fully booked for the rest of today. What does the rest of your week look like? Would tomorrow or Friday work better for you?
I could do any time on Friday.
Let me see what Matt has open on Friday for you. Matt has a few slots on Friday afternoon. Would 3 PM or 4 PM work for you?
3 PM sounds good.
Booking you in for that time now. Lovely, you're all booked in with Matt for Friday at 3 PM. You'll get a calendar invite shortly. Before the call, have a think about those 7,000 leads specifically, what they originally inquired about, and if you've got any special offers we could use to tempt them back. It'll help Matt give you a proper assessment. Any questions before I let you go?
No, that's perfect. Thank you, mate. Bye. So, there we have it. The AI called me, qualified me, and then booked me directly into, obviously, my calendar. And then I did get text notifications on my phone of those leads coming through, being booked, and then also because I was the one that booked it, I got the SMS confirmation about my appointment as well. So as you saw, the voice agent knew my name, it qualified me, and it booked me into an appointment directly in my calendar. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built this system, and this is a system that I'm currently using inside of my own agency. So I'm going to show you every little detail. There's going to be no stone left unturned, and you're going to get a ton of value from this video. Now, this video is specifically for service-based businesses who are running paid ads and they are using GoHighLevel as their CRM, and they want to implement AI voice agents into their paid ads lead nurturing process. If you're new here, my name is Matt. I'm the founder of FutureFlow AI, where we build AI voice and text agent systems for service-based businesses so that they can increase their appointments, save time, save money, all that good stuff. We've helped our clients generate over $500,000 in additional revenue using our systems, and I've also personally taught over 5,000 people how to build voice agent systems for themselves. So the plan for this video is hopefully pretty simple. We're going to start off in GoHighLevel, where I'm going to show you how we actually initiate the outbound calls and build the nurture sequences where we can actually connect GoHighLevel to our retail account. We're then going to jump into retail, where I'm going to show you the agent prompt, the functions, the post-call properties, and how we process that end of call report to send back to GoHighLevel. I'm then going to go through the end-to-end automations as well, so how we're actually booking appointments directly on the phone. I do already have a much more in-depth video about this, so if you're curious on how to build that, then I would highly recommend that you go and check that video out. I'll link it somewhere up here. And then finally, we're going to jump back into GoHighLevel to show you how we are processing the retail end of call report to help us not only manage our leads, but also update specific custom fields with information from the call. This is a live system that I'm running inside of my agency, so this isn't some demo. This is a real production system that I am currently using. So if you're running paid ads and you've been interested in using retail AI voice agents and integrating them with your GoHighLevel, then this is the video for you. Okay, so here we are inside of my GoHighLevel, and the setup for this is actually pretty easy. So what I've done is I've connected my lovable funnel to my GoHighLevel. So whenever someone submits that contact form, it then comes into this automation here. So the contact form submission will come into this webhook. We'll then create a contact, so using the full name, phone, and email. I will then add a tag to that person and then add them to my pipeline. I'm then also sending myself some notifications just so I can see when the leads are coming in as well. We then have this wait 2 minutes section, because when inside of my funnel, you know, people are submitting their details to get access to the VSL, to watch the testimonial, to listen to the calls, to basically get all the sort of value inside of the ads. Now, if they decide that they watch the video and they like what they see and then they can actually book a call directly on this funnel page. So we don't want to call people who have already booked a call with us. So we actually have this 2 minute wait node that is waiting to see if this DBR call booked tag is added. And that tag is added inside of another automation for when people book appointments. But if that tag is not added, we then want to send them to our database reactivation day 1 nurture sequence. So if they don't book a call within 2 minutes, they then enter this kind of crazy looking workflow, but it's honestly not as complicated as it looks. So because we have the 2 minute wait node inside of the other automation, we don't actually have a wait node at the top of here. We just want to call the leads as soon as they come in. So we have a drip, and then we have our custom webhook. Now, this custom webhook is how we are initiating retail voice agent outbound calls directly from GoHighLevel. So what this webhook is doing, it's essentially posting a message to retail to say that we want to initiate an outbound phone call. So inside of here, you just basically put in this URL. This is from the retail API documentation. You have your retail API key that you put inside of there as well. And then you have your raw JSON body. Now, this is honestly not as complicated as it looks, and I'll break it down very simply for you. So at the top line, we have our agent ID. So this is essentially telling Retell which voice agent we want to use for the outbound call. We then have our dynamic variables. So for my agent, there's very few dynamic variables because we're only collecting their name, phone, and email. So that's the only dynamic variables that I'm sending through to the voice agent so that it can personalize the call and just say like, hey, is this Matt, pretty much. So we're sending those through, and they're actually already saved as custom fields, custom values inside of our GoHighLevel. So when the ad comes in, you can see in the last automation, we created a new contact, added the phone, email, and full name. So then we're basically just using that inside of our dynamic variables there. We then have the from number. So that is the number that we are using to call the leads with. So this is just the long number that we have inside of your Retell account. And then the to number is obviously the number that we want to call, which is going to be the lead's phone number. So that's why we have the contact phone number there. And then obviously it's a direction, it is an outbound phone call. Then we have this wait node, so we're waiting for the call to finish. So later on when I show you the end of call reporting automation, inside of that automation, we basically are adding tags to the leads depending on what the call outcome was. And really there's only two outcomes. They either answered the phone or they didn't answer the phone. So this module is basically waiting to see if the answered or did not answer tag has been added. If the answered tag has been added, then we don't want to continue nurturing that person, and then we review the leads. Hopefully they booked a call. But if they didn't answer, then they basically just continue down the nurture sequence. And the way that I've set up my nurture sequence is that I want to double dial people because a lot of people have their phone on do not disturb. So this wait node is actually only 3 seconds. We remove the DNA tag and then we basically call them again. Exact same custom webhook setup. So you can literally, as soon as you make the custom webhook once up here, you can literally just copy and paste it throughout the rest of the automation that you're building. If there is some sort of error, so if neither of the tags were added, then they go into the error sort of column here where we're adding the tag, adding them to the error stage, and also notifying myself and the team about that error. Then if they don't answer the double dial, we're then sending them a text message. If they don't reply to the text message within 2 hours, then we're going to call them again. We're going to double dial again. If they don't answer, we're going to text them again. We're going to call them again. And basically the nurture sequence just basically repeats itself across different times of the day. If they don't answer within the first day, we then add the day 1 complete tag to that person. And that will then add them to our day 2 and 3 nurture flow as well. So if they don't answer the first day, they then enter the second day, and the second day automation sequence looks exactly the same as day 1. So once you have built one good nurture sequence, then creating the rest of it and all the other days is pretty straightforward. So we've got day 2 first call, day 2 first call double dial, another SMS, day 2 second call, day 2 double dial, etc, etc. You get the point. Then if they don't answer any of our calls or any of our text messages, we are then adding that lead to our unresponsive pile inside of our pipeline, and that's leads that we can review or reach out to at a later date as well. Okay, so now we've covered the nurture sequence part. Let's dive into the actual outbound agent prompt where I can show you how I've created the prompt, how I've structured it, and what that actually looks like. So here we are inside of Retell. We have my database reactivation ads outbound agent. I have actually been using Gemini Flash recently because it's cheaper and faster, and the outputs have actually been really, really good. So I'd highly recommend anyone who's watching this to give it a go. I'm using a Scottish voice and the English UK language. But if we're looking inside of the prompt, we can see here that I actually use a very similar structure for all of my agent prompts. It's always role, context. I give it the dynamic information. So remember inside of the custom webhook, we had those custom values or custom fields from the contact inside of the JSON body. So inside of here, underneath dynamic variables, we have first name, phone, and email. That is what we are dynamically inserting inside of the prompt for every new lead so that the agent can personalize every single phone call for every single lead. So we have role, you're Lucas, Matt's voice assistant, you're calling prospects who just signed up to watch the case study about XYZ. We booked 63 appointments in under a month for a client and nearly generated $1 million in investment. Here's the context, so approximately 5 minutes, should probably change that to 2 minutes. They filled out the form to access and you're just following up with them. Here's the dynamic information, here's your personality and brand voice. I want my agent to sound a bit funny, a bit cheeky, so I've let it use self-deprecating humor. I've given it some key personality traits and also put in some humor examples because sometimes the AI's humor isn't very funny. We then have tasks, so like what is the agent actually doing? By the end of the conversation, you should understand their name, industry, and whether they qualify. And then your final goal is to book in an appointment with myself. We then have some specific instructions, and then we have our conversational flow. So the conversational flow is basically how we design the conversation. It's kind of like predicting how the conversation will go, but usually with these types of calls, it's very much the same sort of structure, like they answer the phone, greeting, do discovery, and then book the call. So you can see here we have the opening and video check, so just checking if they actually watched the VSL video or if they didn't, and then giving the AI basically some templated responses that it can give depending on what they answer to those questions. So those 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, that's what we call conditional formatting. So we're basically telling the agent what to do if they say this, say this. If they say this, then say this. We then have the business discovery, so asking them what's the name of their business, what do they sell / offer. That's basically the only 2 pieces of information that I really need to know. Then I do the database qualification. So for this service, we are looking for businesses that have a minimum of 3,000 leads that have engaged or opted in the last 12 months so that we can actually reactivate those leads and then book appointments in the business's calendar. So I'm basically just laying out, what questions to ask and basically what to say if they say 5,000, if they say 3,000, if they say less than 3,000. So again, we're using that conditional formatting prompting style. Then once we've done that qualification, they seem like a good fit, we want to position the discovery call. So that's where we're basically pitching to have the discovery call with Matt, which you heard at the start in the demo. So the agent says, look, based on what you've told me, I think Matt would love to speak with you. The next step would be to schedule a quick discovery call with him. He can have a look at your database and see if your system would be a good fit. Would you be up for having a call with Matt? And then if they say yes, proceed to section 5. And then we have some objection handling inside of there if they're not 100% keen on booking a call straight away. Then we obviously have our calendar booking and scheduling appointment. So here is where we actually start using the function calls. So the function calls is what allows the agent to actually book the appointments live on the call. So my ads are running inside of US, UK, and also Australia. So I'm having to find out what time zone is that person in, so that the times that the agent pulls back from my calendar are in their time zone rather than UK time zone, because we wouldn't ask someone to work out the time if they're in Australia. So we basically get the AI to do that for us. So it finds out the time zone, it asks what day would work best for them. And then once we get a date to check, we then use the get availability function to check my calendar availability. So they might say, okay, I'm free tomorrow or Friday. Then the agent would go and check my calendar for Friday and then return back if there is any opening slots, and it will tell the person what those slots are. And if there isn't any slots, it will say, Matt's fully booked or there's no availability for that time. Do you have any other days that could work? Then once we find obviously a time that is mutually agreeable, it works for me, it works for them, the agent then uses the schedule appointment function to actually book that person into my calendar. Once it's booked, the agent just does a bit of like wrapping up and closing, like, do you have any questions? Is there anything else I can help with? And then finally ends the call. We then have our function usage guidelines. So even though we're telling the voice agent exactly when and where to use the functions, I just like to include a function usage guidelines so that the agent, definitely knows exactly when and where to use the functions. I've then included like a little sort of knowledge base about the service directly, so about our database reactivation service. Obviously, in case people ask like, what even is this? How does it work? The agent has that sort of knowledge. So like what it is, it's database reactivation, pay-per-result service. So we basically reactivate the leads and we only get paid once we book qualified appointments. How does it work? The different stages, the pricing model, the requirements, some proof points. So these are some case studies that we've gotten recently, booked 63 appointments and generated $1 million in investment. And then also for another investment broker client, we booked 26 appointments in 2 weeks from just 1,000 leads. So the results are there, and we basically just want the AI to tell them about that. We then have some key success patterns and then some notes. So the notes are just like kind of little reminders that I've wanted to remind the agent of based on my testing. For my welcome message, I like to just use a dynamic variable. So, hello, is this Matt? They say yes, agent says great. Or even if they say, who is this? The agent then just explains, oh, you just filled in our form, my name's Lucas, I'm an AI, etc., etc. So that's the prompt. We then have three main function calls, which is end call. So end call is basically just allowing the agent to actually end the call itself. We have the get availability, and then we have the schedule appointment. So get availability is basically sending through information to our NAN. So it's going to send through the start date and their time zone. And then for the schedule appointment, we're basically sending through the start time, their first name, their phone number, and their time zone so that we can book the appointment inside of my calendar. In the other video that I spoke about where I break down how this all works, like if that doesn't make sense, I would highly recommend you go and watch my other video on how to set up appointment scheduling with Retell and GoHighLevel, because I go into that in way more detail. So I don't want to kind of overlap and repeat myself. Next part, and this is a part that I believe is commonly overlooked when it comes to building voice agents, and it is the post-call data extraction, or what I like to call post-call properties. And basically what this is we are asking the AI to extract specific pieces of information from the call so that we can update it inside of our GoHighLevel CRM. So in this use case example, in the lead form, so in the ads, we're actually only collecting their name, phone number, and email address. But if they book an appointment, we obviously want to know the name of their business, what's their offer, where are they located, those sorts of things. So inside of my post-call data properties, I've created a property called business name, which is going to extract the business name. We've got industry, which is going to extract the industry. We've got offer, which is going to extract what they sell. We've got lead count, so however many leads they tell us that they have. I'm then going to update that inside of a custom field. Location, pretty self-explanatory. And then if they ask us to call them back, I want to capture the date and time if they gave us one, so that we can follow up with them. We then have objections and questions. So if someone doesn't book, for example, and they're asking lots of questions and they have objections, I want to be able to see that information, instantly when I go to review the lead, so that I can obviously understand and learn faster about what's working, what questions people are asking, that sort of thing. Now, the last sort of property that I want to kind of hone in on is this call outcome property. And this is actually a really, really important property when it comes to doing these outbound agents, especially for ads. Because what this property does, this property allows us to manage the leads into their different pipeline stages inside of our GoHighLevel. So at the end of the call, the agent will read the transcript, it will read the prompt, and then it will use this post-call property description like a prompt to analyze and basically categorize what call outcome this lead would fall under. So if they booked and confirmed, the output would be booked and confirmed. If they requested a callback, it would be callback requested. If they spoke to the agent but didn't book, they'd go into that stage. And then inside of our GoHighLevel, we basically organize those leads into the different stages inside the pipeline, so that when I go into my high level, my pipeline, I can see essentially what's going on with the leads, what are the numbers, what do the metrics look like. So that's the different sort of call outcomes that I've put for my outbound agent. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for the post-call properties. The last thing that I just want to highlight is the webhook settings. Like if you've not used Retell or integrated Retell with GoHighLevel before, the agency level webhook is essentially where we tell Retell where we want to send our end of call report to. And the end of call report is really, really important because the end of call report is what has all of the juicy information that we want from the call. So it will have all of these post-call property outputs. It will have the call summary, it will have the call transcript, it will have the recording URL. And we need all of that information when we basically, send the end of call report directly back into GoHighLevel. We need that information for the contact so that we can understand what's going on, listen back to the calls, read the call summaries, all that good sort of stuff. So inside of here, I'm basically putting an inbound webhook from GoHighLevel so that the end of call report from Retell goes directly from Retell to GoHighLevel. I did say that I would quickly mention the end side of things, so I will do that just now. But like I said, I have a video that literally goes into this in extreme detail. So I would highly recommend watch that video if this is foreign to you. But basically we just have two sort of simple functions here. We have our get availability function and we have our schedule appointment function. So inside the get availability function, inside this set fields module, I have like my GoHighLevel private integration token. I have my calendar ID, my location ID, the start time and end date. And then this get free slots HTTP request is what sends the message to GoHighLevel to check if there's any availability inside of the specified calendar on the specified date that has come through from the function call. And then similarly with the schedule appointment, inside our set fields module, I have my location ID, my calendar ID, my GoHighLevel private integration token, the start time, the time zone, and then that information is being passed through to the search GoHighLevel module, which for these ad leads is always going to come back true because the lead has already been entered into the GoHighLevel. So if we're searching the GoHighLevel for that lead, it will always find it, which means it will always go through as true. Then we have our create appointment HTTP request, which basically creates the appointment inside of GoHighLevel. And then once that appointment is successfully booked, it will go through as true. And if it's not successfully booked, it will go through as false. And these respond to webhook nodes, basically are sending messages back to Retell to tell it what's happening. So to tell it if the call was successfully booked or it wasn't successfully booked. So for the last part, coming back to GoHighLevel, I'm going to show you the end of call reporting automation we use so that we can organize the leads into their different pipeline stages and update custom fields with the post-call properties that we're extracting from the call. So inside of my end of call reporting automation, we have the inbound webhook where that is what we put inside of here. So basically Retell sends the end of call report into this webhook here. Now we do have a condition module here, which is basically filtering out any other report that isn't the call analyze report, because Retell does actually send through two different reports. It sends through a call ended and a call analyze report. And the call analyze report is the report that has all the juicy information that we want. And the call ended we don't need. It will just confuse things. So we just want to filter out the call ended and make sure that the call analyze report is the one that we're using. We then have this create/update contact module. So this is the module that we use to basically take the post-call property outputs and assign them to custom fields inside of our GoHighLevel. So in my case, I've created a folder and specific custom fields just for our database reactivation outbound agent. So we've got the DBR AI outbound call outcome, they've got the call recording, the summary, the call schedule backed for time, the leads industry, location, objection questions, their offer, their lead count, and then also their business name. And to just show you how we actually assign those details, once the end of call report comes into the inbound webhook, we basically, if I just delete this business name one, I want to add a new field like that. I'm going to select business field, business name. I'm going to go to this tag and I'm going to go to the inbound webhook trigger. I'm going to go to call. I'm going to go down to call analysis. I'm then going to go to custom analysis data. And then inside of here is the list of all of my post-call properties. I then just want to select business name and then hit save. So you do that, you basically create custom fields that match with all of the post-call properties that you're extracting information about, and then you basically just match them up inside of this create/update contact module field. We then have the log call recording, so we're logging the call recording inside of the contact record, using information from the end of call report. So the end of call report does give us the direction of the call, it gives us the to number, the from number, and then the attachment, we basically use the recording URL. This module here is our call notes. So the notes is basically lives inside of the contact record on the right hand side, and we're basically just noting what was the date of the call, the summary, the transcript, and the call outcome. And I'll show you what that looks like just at the very end. We then have our condition module, which is basically using that call outcome property that I spoke about earlier. So inside of this condition module, we're saying if the call outcome is equal to confirmed, booked/confirmed, then go down this branch. If it's spoken but not booked, go down this branch. If it's callback requested, go down this branch. You kind of get the idea. And then inside of these branches, we are adding tags. So remember earlier when I said the nurture sequence is actually dependent on the end of call report? Inside of the end of call report, if they booked and confirmed, that means we know that they answered the call. So we're going to add the answered tag. If they spoken but not booked, that's answered. If they wanted a callback requested, that's answered. But if they were a voicemail/no answer, we would add the DNA tag so that the nurture sequence continues and we sort of continue nurturing that lead. We then have the update opportunity or update pipeline modules. So in here, if someone books, I want to put them into the discovery call. If they were spoken but not booked, I want to put them into that stage of the pipeline. If they were callback requested, they're going to go into the manual follow-up pipeline or stage of the pipeline, and so on, so forth. You kind of get the idea there. I have then also set up some internal notifications for myself. So if someone books an appointment, I want to know about it. If someone, spoke to the agent but didn't book, I want to know about it. And if someone requested a callback, then I want to know about that as well. So that's what these internal notifications are doing. And that is basically how we manage the leads into their different pipeline stages and also update their contact records using the GoHighLevel in automations and our Retell AI end of call reporting. So the final thing that I wanted to show you is the pipeline itself. So showing you, my lead coming through and it being updated inside of the database reactivation pipeline. So you can see that my lead, Matt Cohn, has been put into the discovery call because obviously I booked the discovery call. You can see that the appointment has been scheduled inside of the GoHighLevel as well. But then if I just go into the contact record itself, you can see that the call recording has been logged inside of the conversations. If I go to the notes, you'll see that the call summary and notes have been included inside of there as well. Obviously, I've done a bunch of test calls with my own number, so there is quite a few different call notes updates inside of here. But that's also important if the person calls back or the agent calls multiple times and speaks to them a couple of times. All of the call reports will be inside of the notes section there. But then the important part that I kind of want to show you guys is the custom fields side of things. So when obviously the post-call properties are produced and then we have that create/update contact module inside of the end of call report, it's then updating those custom fields inside of the contact record. And then when we see an appointment booked, we can go into the DBR leads, or this is for me, I can go into the DBR leads and basically see what was the number of leads, what was the industry and offer. Okay, there's a bit of a confusion there. But we have like solar installation. This is directly from the outbound agent. So solar installation, they provide solar paneling, locations there, no objections, the call outcome. There's a call summary there as well. I can use this URL to listen back to the call if I don't want to listen to it on here for whatever reason. And then we have the lead count as well. So they're all the post-call properties that the agent got from the call and then updated inside of our end of call report automation as well. So there we have it. We've come to the end of the video. If you've made it this far, then I just want to say obviously a massive thank you for trusting me with your time. I hope you got a ton of value. Just to recap what we showed you, basically we showed you leads coming into GoHighLevel, entering those leads into a nurture sequence, initiating AI voice agent outbound calls using Retell AI agents, but actually initiating the calls from GoHighLevel. We then obviously saw the demo at the very beginning of the agent nurturing a lead, qualifying them, and then booking them in for an appointment live on the call. And then I also showed you how we use the end of call report information from Retell to manage and update contact information about our leads as well. This whole video has been showing you how I'm using this inside of my own agency for my database reactivation ads. That is an offer that we are still currently running, so if that's of any interest to you, then you can book a call in the link down below. There is zero setup fees, no upfront costs, no monthly retainers. We work on a completely pay per result basis, so we will basically reactivate your old leads for you, and you only pay us when you see booked appointments in your calendar. Also, if you are a service-based business using GoHighLevel, running paid ads, and you want AI voice agents to call your leads for you so that you can save time, book more appointments, and make more money, then you can also find the book call link, the first link in the description down below. Thank you again for tuning in. Obviously, if you got some value from this, then please do leave a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button down below. But until then, I shall see you later.